Hello, hello. I'm pretty sure my audio is good. Had to catch my breath. Just when I thought I had everything set up, got to run and go get my coffee. Totally forgot it. Excellent. Thank you, Nelson. Code Red Girl. Yeah, I saw your comment. I don't do donations in the underground. You guys already pay like $5.52 a month to be in there. The cipher videos I don't do donations in there either. But here on YouTube, feel free. I'm not discouraging it. Let's see. Chat is going great. Man, look at this awesome t-shirt this Errant got me. Look at that. Look at this. Who is that with the mystery machine? Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. Who is that? Right here. Yeah, man. How'd that happen? How did I get in the mystery machine? This thing's so crammed full of stuff. Put all that aside. So apparently, got an errant in the UK that saw my Scooby-Doo lunchbox and sent me a tin box. Right there. I really appreciate you sitting me next to Daphne like that. There, it's clear. There it is. Yeah, man. Look, it's like a bookmobile. Archaix mobile ops. It's like a bookmobile. Yeah, man. I'm feeling that. Like, you know I'm a van guy. Love my van. Yeah, man. She got down. She got down. See what other, they got all kinds of things. Magnets, a Charles Fort magnet, some buttons. Oh, I didn't even see that one. That's a refrigerator magnet. Oh my God. Look at that. A refrigerator magnet. That's too much. Man, normally my camera's better than that. Might be the lighting. Yeah, I have it low lighting in here. Yeah, man. Okay, these buttons are the same. So I got two buttons. She got down. I took over the Scooby-Doo bunch in the mystery machine. She even provided a sticker. Wanted poster, Archaix 138. There's Billy Carson right there next to Graham Hancock. Look at that. She knows me too well. I'm not going to sit here and gaslight you. There she is right there. Pretty good looking woman. I don't know why my camera's not. It's got to be the lighting. Got to be the lighting. There she is right there. That's her little company. She does artwork. Magnets, buttons, all kinds of stuff. Pretty good. I'll put her contact information in the description box when this is over. Yeah, man. Nice. I can't read her card, or I'd say it out loud. Yeah, these are to protect my eyes. These right here are to protect my eyes, but I can't really see a lot of small print. I have prescription reading glasses. This is what I normally wear when I'm reading. These aren't just readers, they're prescription readers. I can't really read a book using these. Nice, man. It's another one. That's the, oh, this is a sticker of the back of the front of the bus. Yeah, man. I'm feeling that. Break free or die trying. Break free or die trying. Got some Phoenix stickers, 138 stickers. Yeah, they're good. Good. And someone else also sent a basket. I thought it was really cool. It's a little homemade basket, just a little tiny basket. And I thought that's all it was. I didn't really investigate further. And I put it aside on the table because it goes really well with some of my antiques on the table, especially an old elephant and lamp I got. And I put it next to us. Yeah, it's gonna go right there. Justin, Justin's nosy. He's been here for like 9 days, man. There ain't nothing he ain't going through. So he's helping me organize, but he's also real nosy. So he's gonna go through every book. He's gonna look and see what I got, everything. And he saw the basket, picked it up, and there was money in there. This little tiny basket. So the money was folded like origami, but folded in strips and put in a spiral so tight. I don't know how they got this money in there. But I pulled it out and I saw one. I said, unfold it. It's $100 bill. And then I get a $20 bill and a $10 bill. Excuse me. Or two, not 10, two fives, two $5 bills and some ones. And when I got to $130 and I saw there were still some strips in there, I'm saying there's no way. This is $138. But if that's possible, one of these has to be a $2 bill. It's going to have to be right there in front of Justin. I had said that. And as we're unrolling these, opened it up. There's the $2 bill. It wouldn't have equaled 138 otherwise. Because we saw how many strips were in there. Pulled them all out. They fit $138, this little tiny basket. I don't know how they folded that stuff up that tight, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I think Justin ate about half of that. But yeah, it made $138 with that $2 bill. Yeah, man. Hector stopped by and saw Paul at the book tree. Awesome. I'm going to visit him this year. I go to San Diego every year. I go to San Diego every year. I appreciate the person that donated the $138 because Justin and I went out and it was delicious. Yeah, he's a jack of all trades. I'm not gonna blow him up today. I did on Underground yesterday. I did a 3-hour in Underground yesterday, and I explained to my community. Justin travels all over the United States. He stays in Las Vegas, but he's been doing a bunch of traveling. And I'm going to tell you now, he needs to, because in the Underground, we have errant personals. I told him, I says, dude, you need to put it in the errant personals what your skill sets are, because this is unbelievable. Yeah. I had to get a new thermostat and water pump for a truck I bought 3 weeks ago. And it's a vintage truck, and the guy didn't really want to sell it, but his wife made him. She has twin electric vehicles now in the driveway, and this guy has been babying this truck and barely even using it. And he told me the truth. He says, man, I've only driven this to work and back the entire time I've owned this truck. I'm the only owner of this truck. And he worked like a couple miles away from where he was at. He told me the truth. The math didn't lie. How much the mileage was on the tank, as opposed to having the truck for 21 years. And the truck doesn't look anything like it originally did factory. I mean, he has done everything to this 5.7 Hemi Dodge Ram from 2006. And it's fully loaded, decked out, interior's awesome. This was this guy's baby. And he didn't really want to sell it, but you know what? She was the boss. So I got the truck, and he didn't lie, because within 2 days, I put 500. I was running errands. I put 500 miles on it in 2 or 3 days. and the truck wasn't used to that. He didn't lie to me. The water pump and thermostat had to be replaced, and Justin just pulled it into my garage at my new place. He pulled it in my garage. He just did it. I'm talking about so fast. I couldn't believe it. Six to 8 hour operation. Didn't even have the right tools. Didn't even have a torque wrench. Just made homemade tools out of the tools I had in my garage. Justin's a beast. But then it goes, I mean, he's 20 years Air Force mechanic. So what did I expect? He was working on jets. But trucks are nothing to him. But anyway, his skill sets are incredible. So I've been trying to encourage him, man. Get in the underground, dude. Go to Errant Personals and put yourself out there, dude. He said, dude, I had so many boxes of new appliances and computers and I have a huge camera security system now. I have to. So, I mean, nothing. There's nothing that man can't open, go through the manual, and then sit there and give me a tutorial. You know how Max Egan walks and does his videos? He has that wand that has the camera that turns and all that. Well, I might have bought a more upgraded version of that because I have one now that has remote controls and record and snapshot pictures, and I can hold it and I can also put it on the ground and it turns into a tripod and I can just walk away. I can continue filming. It will follow me. It has motion detection. It will follow. The camera will follow me in a 360 wherever I go as I'm talking. I'm going to start doing videos with that as well. But Justin opened it up, put it all together, assembled, put the batteries in there, figured it all out, gave me a tutorial. He's like a genius for this. I said, dude, you got to put yourself out there. If you're going to do all this traveling, why don't you travel for free? There's a bunch of people who will put you, who you ain't got to spend all this money on hotels and motels and stuff like you do. Screw all that, man. So I gave him oh, there he is. He's in the chat right now. But I was so impressed, man, because he did it. He's got my whole new place all technologically just, it's out there. There's nothing. I pick up my phone and there's nothing going around in this house I can't see. So yeah, man, he's a beast. He is a beautiful soul. He's also making the why can't I talk right now? Oh, the Archaix, just for Archaix Underground and Cypher Group. He's the one making the t-shirts. He's making Archaix Underground t-shirts and hats, and he's already made some Cypher hats and Cypher shirts that are off the chain. I love them, and they're badass. And I got 2 of them. I wore one for the Cypher Group, but he's doing good. He's doing good. But I'm just running my mouth. This is not an itinerary video. This was just, hey, let's kick it. This is just a, hey, let's kick it video. So if you want to come on the screen, I'm about to drop the link. Oh, well, actually, you have to email Archaix Live. Archaix Live at Gmail. That's all it is. Archaix Live at Gmail. And I'll drop you a link. You can come on screen. Hell yeah. So I did make a miscalculation. I was supposed to get high-speed internet 2 days ago. I had announced that it was coming. I got some real crappy internet. I have already canceled it. It's going to be canceled Monday, and on Monday morning at 8 to 9 a.m. I've got an internet company in here that provides 8 to 9,000 megabits per second. Extremely fast upload speed. I'm not going to have any more internet problems. You should be able to see the freckles on my face. You can't see the freckles, but you should be able to see the freckles on my face when this new internet gets installed on Monday, because I've never dealt with anything like that. I've always hovered around 1,000 megabits per second, and it never really comes in. It's always causing problems. But what I have installed on Monday, they're guaranteeing my lowest at any time is going to be around 8,000. I'll have 8,000 to 9,000 megabits per second. And since I'm the only one here, yeah, we should have no more internet issues. Freckles are underrated. Yeah, my face ain't the only place I've got freckles. Yeah, man. All right. When I was a little kid, I had a nice little. I'm bald now, but when I was real young, I had like golden light brown hair with a lot of red in it. It had a red tint. Every time the sun hit, my head, I looked like a redhead. And by the time I was 8 years old, it had darkened a little bit, dark brown. And then you guys know the rest of the story. I started shaving my head in prison because it's just a utility. I said, man, it's hair, waiting in lines to go to the barber shop and having to pay a barber and all that stuff in prison. Yeah, screw all that, man. I just shaved my head. Then I got to liking it. I liked it shaving. Then one day I decided to grow my hair out. And this right here wouldn't grow, just on the side. So you know what? Kind of made an executive decision that I'm just gonna have to find me a woman that likes a bald man, because the hair's gone. The hair is gone. It's not coming back. All right. Bald Buddha. Let me check my email, see who's going to come on here. Embarrass me or embarrass themselves, or somebody wants to fight. Do they want to flirt? What's going on out there, guys? I'm down to talk about anything. All right. Let's see this email real quick. So we went live 3 hours in the underground yesterday, and we're going to go another 3 hours on Tuesday at our normal scheduled time. Yeah, this internet's a pain in the ass. It really is. I can't even open up my email. I can't wait till Monday, get this new internet. I can't open that email up. So I'm going to do something a little different. Hit this invite link. Copied. Jeffrey Bailey. Yeah, man. Hey, Jeff, I think isn't Justin heading your way? I think Justin's heading your way. I think so. We're going to do it different. The link is in the chat. I put the StreamYard link into the chat. I know it's going to populate. I'm going to get a bunch of people down in here, but that's okay. I can't see the email. So if you just send an email trying to get in, yeah, I just can't see the email. Bandwidth is too low. It's not letting me open up another deal. StreamYard is pretty much taking over my bandwidth. So there's the link right there. You want to come on? Just put that link in your browser, and you'll pop in backstage right here. Oh, okay. Jeffrey Betty said Justin will be there in about 30 minutes. That's good, man. Oh, I want to make an announcement. I found out last night that a tree fell on one of Christina the Astonishing's right here. Right here. Girl, I feel for you. The same thing happened about five days ago on the other property in Willis, and it's a tree fell on a building. I think it happened the same day it happened on yours, but it was very minor damage because it was a very old hollow tree that had just rotted away. But yeah, and Christina, I know they can go to your channel if anybody wants to help her out. I know she had I know some people were talking about it in underground. That's how I found out about it. Yeah, that sucks. I'm glad you're all right. I hope those pigs, the little goats you got, are all right. Dr. Juan 44, are you ready to come on screen? Pacific Northwest. Let's see here. There he is right there.
Hi, Jason. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, perfect. What's on your mind?
Excellent cats that are wanting their dinner. But what I wanted to mention was, oh, by the way, good to see you back on YouTube. But what I wanted to mention was these 72 names of God. I've noticed also you have 72 years from 2107 to 2178. But could those 72 names of God include names like Enoch, Enki, Quetzalcoatl? Has anybody ever totaled up all these different names from these different cultures for this same being?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, man. I know I'm aware that the 72 names of God, which is like emblematic of the Tetragrammaton, is entirely of rabbinical construction. Prior to the rabbinate creating this whole model, there aren't any. You're not going to find it in the Zoroastrian text. You're not going to find it in the Gnosis. You're not going to find it in Buddhic, references, Hinduism. No one has ever asserted that there were 72 names of God until the Jews. So I don't know, but it could we could probably make a list, and all these progenitors like Cecrops and Danaus, all these mariner like gods, Quetzalcoatl, Varuna, Bacoca, Viracocha. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could come up. It probably would be around 72. All the civilization bearers actually just being different facets for the original God. I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, the 72 years between 2106 AD, which is the 6,000th year on the Anno Mundi timeline, and yes, it does begin a 72-year period to the next Phoenix date, which is 2178, which is total systemic reset, which is the 1656th year of this cycle, which began in 522 AD. 522 AD beginning the Dark Ages. This is the cycle we're on now, and remember, this is a very old cycle. It is the cycle recorded in Genesis. From Genesis to the flood was 1656 years, and then from the flood, 1656 years was to 583 BC when Thales of Miletus had predicted the darkening of the sun. So the 522 AD is 1656 years to 2178. This cycle was known. Rashi, 1,000 years ago, Rashi had even published that the world is destroyed every 1656 years. So that 72-year period, I really don't know. I can speculate. I believe it's going to be. I believe it's going to be a period when the world is going to experience what it's like when every errant soul has been removed from the construct. For 72 years, We're going to get to say, okay, this is what you finally got what you want. You've implemented all these policies. You've implemented all these weird social deals. You've tried to normalize all this iniquitous, nefarious, and evil shit. It says you've always demonized the good people that have been in the world, the civilization builders. And you know what? We're going to remove them. 2106 AD, the final year, is final Exodus year. Nemesis X. It's the 60th year. It's the 60th and final year of the convergence field for Nemesis X. That's 2106. So if every errant soul is removed from the construct, then all the rest of the world they're going to live 72 years until total systemic reset, getting to know, here's the world you wanted. Here's what you've been pushing for all this time. Finally, we removed all the good souls. Now deal with it. I don't want to be here at that period of time at all.
No. I don't know if you've seen what I uploaded to Archaix Underground, what I call the real story behind World War II. You may want to have a look at that.
Okay.
Because
I'll check it out.
It adds further confirmation of what you're saying.
Yeah, it's where did you get the material from? I mean, most of my material in World War II were from brigadier generals who were very dissatisfied with the president, and they were privately publishing their shit about what was really going on in Germany. And even during World War II, our generals were having arguments talking about, man, this is bullshit. We are fighting the wrong enemy.
Well, it comes from multiple angles, but one of the biggest red flags is if you take nationalism and socialism, that would give you the initials NASO. So why is it NAZI? To me, that's straight away telling you something. What does the ZI stand for?
I don't know.
But if you do, well, I would say it stands for Zionism. But
Okay.
if you look at the different things I've put together on that video, you may have like an aha moment from it. But I've just put it out there in the field for people to judge for themselves.
Okay.
Because
it's
there's definitely a pattern. Because if you need underground bases, you need the engineers to be able who know how to build these things. And clearly this other side have nothing original about them. They can only manipulate what already is. So probably the 72 names, they've got that from somewhere as well. It's not theirs. Nothing is original to them.
Right. So we do know
Anyway,
that we do know with the Weimar Republic, they had the top engineers and scientists in the world, and we know that a lot of the chemists and doctors, the medical specialists, they were kidnapped into Russia when Germany was broken up after World War II. The United States got the astronomers, the astrophysicists, a bunch of the technical structural engineers, and they were taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. They were taken to El Paso, Texas. They were brought to Houston, Texas. They basically founded NASA and what the pre-structure for NASA. You're aware of all that, the Oppenheimer project and stuff. So, but I would not be surprised. There were still a whole bunch of scientists that are unaccounted for in Germany. I don't believe that they were executed. They weren't a part of the Nuremberg trials. So the Zionists could have definitely, set them up in labs in Argentina under quarantine, move their families down there. I mean, there's a lot of evidence, man, that a whole bunch of the German Reichstag and all that went to Argentina and were set up there and were financed. And so, it's World War II. The more we find out about World War II, to me, it's all just Jewish fuckery again.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Anyway, I'm going to say love to the Errant's family. Thank you, Jason. I've now got to go and feed these cats, so I'll let somebody else come on, as it were. But thank you for letting me be able to say this. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so if you're in the underground, go check out that video he's talking about. I'll go look at it. All right, bro.
Anybody that is not in the underground, all I'm going to say is you're doing yourself a huge disservice because you've a lot more to gain by joining it.
Yeah, underground's awesome.
Yeah,
all right, bro.
Definitely. Okay.
All right, so we have Neko. Oh, I'm going to post the link again. There's the link. There's the StreamYard link if you want to join me. I just posted it again. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna risk this and say this is Neko.
Nico.
I always get it wrong.
It's okay. I get it all the time. It's always, I think it's probably grammatically pronounced correctly, but I pronounce it with a long E sound.
Yeah, you're probably right, Nico. Neko would have been Necko, Neko, but that's all right. Where are you hailing from?
I'm in Washington State. I was
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from California, so it's San Diego, actually. I was just down there last month, and I didn't make it down to Booktree. I wanted to, but I
can't believe you.
I know. Yeah. I know. I've actually talked to Paul. He's so delightful. He helped me out with sending some books to someone, and just such a kind human being. And I really wanted to go down there while I was there to, just to say hi and officially introduce myself to him, but I didn't get it to. So I have lots of questions. First of all, I've been I've been with you since Santos, your interview with him. So, so I've been with you for a while. You kind of filled in a lot of the gaps I'm a deep thinker. So you kind of filled in a lot of the gaps of history that I had questions that I didn't feel like I was getting answers. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, I really like how you present things. Yesterday under the underground, in your talk that you were giving, some of the things I think I struggle with is being in this construct. So I've always been a positive person my whole entire life, but I've had, before I was probably even born, I've had like these challenges in my life. And there's no rhyme or reason. I can't really say how I would actually fit in the construct because I feel like I'm always changing things. But I have a question is, do you think when we come here to the construct that we maybe pre-program our life of certain events that we want to happen or go through before we come here, and then when we come here, it's kind of like that deja vu where you're like, okay, I've either dreamt this or I've been through this. But then there's other things like, as an example, my son, when he was like 4 or 5, he had said that certain events were going to happen. Now, he wouldn't tell me what those events are. And, but there were certain words that he had said at that time. Well, those events unfolded 3 years ago. And it was pretty devastating to go through that. Now, I've gone through other things in life, but it makes you think, do we pre-program certain events to happen in our life?
Okay, I would love to be able to give you a definitive answer and say preterism is true. I would love to be able to say predestination is true, but I can't. What I can tell you is by my own experience and 30-something years of just self-analysis and studying my own life and studying the history of the world and seeing basically the same patterns as I've documented, is the exact same patterns that unfold in the years of world history provide us a mathematical distribution of patterns that is too uncanny to ignore. But they're the same ones that happen in the days of a man's life. They are no different than the years of world history. So these are the only two ways to really even measure time: the day, the diurnal system of day and night, and the year. Other than that, every other timekeeping system is entirely man-made. It is arbitrary. It's mechanistic. So I would love to say, it's to be able to answer that question in some type of direct affirmative way, but I can't, because my own experience shows me that I was inserted into a pre-existing program that's already operating on protocols that are ancient. And what I mean is I had no say-so whatsoever when I was put here in many of these things that are axiomatic, like we talked about yesterday.
Yep.
Some of those axioms are the diurnal system. It's not going to change day and night. Good and evil. All the polarities that we are exposed to when we get here are a part of a collective programming, which is true for every single one of us. Pain and pleasure. All these dichotomies and polarities are there, and they give us different types of experiences. But just because the construct that we find ourselves in, this reality that we find ourselves flowing through, is fixed. The timelines are fixed, the cycles, the epicycles, the systemic resets, all these things are fixed, is what we found in Archaix. But at the same time, it shows that the individual doesn't have to be governed by these protocols, doesn't have to suffer dungeon program, doesn't have to enter these feedback loops. These governors these are called governors. Anytime a set series of algorithms or protocols produces a set series of very definitive and predictable phenomena, this is just a program. All of reality, this whole entire construct is just one vast program. But what's interesting about it is that it does seem to be multifaceted, holographic, to where an individual flowing through the fixed programming has a huge amount of freedom to be something other than what they started being, to develop or to develop into something, or basically to become degenerate and be absorbed into the collective. Not to sound like Star Trek and the Borg, but that's basically what's happening. because many souls come into the construct and they lose themselves here, and they start believing that they are their body, they are their avatar, and they lose all sense of individuality. And next thing you know, they're a part of the collective because they wanted to be accepted. They wanted other souls to basically, be a part of something. But in being a part of something, they have entered dungeon programming. And dungeon programming is really hard to get out of. Those feedback loops are there for a reason. They're self-perpetuating. Whole belief systems, ideologies, philosophies, political systems are all dungeon programming. But I was sent in here just like you. Whether we volunteered for it or not, these are entirely theoretical. We can argue all day long. That we are here is a fact. That we are experiencing the same world is a fact. But what's not factual is that the destiny that I can assign for myself is malleable. I am able to change my coordinates in this fixed field. The fixed field is still permanent. It is still fixed. It is just a continuum of phenomena that is so believable that the souls that are inside it believe they're in a real world when they are not. Yeah, they can't be in a real world. Not when we have things like Mandela effect and coincidence and deja vu and synchronicities. These things right here are all evidence that there's something's not quite right. And then the study of actual chronological history shows it's all templates and programming set in different areas. So to be believable, but you having an inability to process and really I understand that you are flowing through an experience rather than being in a real world has everything to do with past trauma. And past trauma doesn't mean something super bad happened to you. Trauma is attached to us in many different forms. It could be through a conversation where another soul had said something to you and it stuck and you were never able to lose that. And their opinion of you now became factual to yourself. Remember, we're in such a beautiful, magical medium that it will always project back. It will always reflect back as experience what you project into it. It is a divine mirror. I call it the mirror of the divine in previous videos. So the more you regard your environment with suspicion, the more your environment will reflect back as experiences, things for you to go through that will make you even more suspicious of it. You follow me?
Oh, yeah, I do. I was like, I think I've always... It's really hard because I don't really feel like I fit in. It's kind of hindsight when you look back on things, but I can clearly remember as a child when, I had challenges and, so I was I was bullied, pretty much all through elementary school. And I remember I felt sorry for them. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I felt sorry for them because I thought how sad it must be that they kind of felt low of themselves that they projected onto me and had to, make fun of the challenges that I had to go through as a child. And, and I went through unforeseen, I guess, a person in life. If I keep being told I should write a book, but, unforeseen things that I had to go through as a child. But I never saw them as bad things. They're like, but when you grow up, they are bad things. They are, you're just like, oh, that's so horrible. But I never saw it that way. I always just was in the moment, and I'm still always in the moment. And it just, I always do look at it differently. And I always had questioned, why do I have to go through so many hardships? But yet it never hardens me or makes me angry or bitter. I actually have more compassion going through these things, and especially towards people, towards humans. Like you, I was raised Southern Baptist, and I always was probably the only child that would go up every Sunday crying about what a horrible person I was, even though I was never horrible. So it was so to break free of that paradigm. Thank you very much for helping me with that. But you still have a different perspective on life, and I'm grateful for that. But when you're trying to make still sense, like you said, we can't really prove if we come here with a pre notion of what we need to go through. It's hard for my head to wrap around that, because I'm so positive. I really do live in the moment, and I've accomplished everything that I've put my mind to. I accomplished everything. So, but I still wrapping my head around.
When is the last time you walked through a forest?
I live in a forest. I mean, it's beautiful here. I'm such a nature person. I'm so grounded. I know you have problems with meditation.
I want to make this observation.
Yeah.
So, okay, the fish flowing through the river doesn't need to conceptualize its environment in order for it to thrive. Right. The salmon that's trying to swim upstream doesn't need to understand, the confines of the river in order to get further and further upstream. It just has to avoid the bears that are trying to catch them while they're going up the river. You don't need to process that you're in a construct, this similosphere, this holospheric reality. None of that even needs to be your concern. It's literally a byproduct of the Archaix research. It is not the focus. You don't have to believe that you're in a simulation. You don't. What you have to believe is that you are moored to something else. Your ability for cogitation, your emotional capacity, the ability for imagination and empathy, these are non-local. Being non-local, they're not attached to anything in the field. Everything in the field that you experience is the result of collapsed potentia. Collapsed potentia is actually energy that's vibrating at different frequencies, that as soon as more than two souls agree on something being something, it collapses from probability into actual experience. It's now a stone pillar. More than two souls have agreed that that's a stone pillar, so it becomes a stone pillar for everybody. It is collapsed potentia. It is energy that no longer vibrates at such a high frequency that it can be anything, because now it is completely confined to the interpretation placed upon it by souls in the construct. You don't have to go through life identifying all phenomena and all that. What you're here to do is to process the fact that you are a highly individualized soul, and that you can create your own world and your own reality. And the more that you separate from the collective, the closer you get to God. This is the only way you'll ever be truly unified with the oversoul. That is not being separate. You can still communicate and have community and have family and do all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the collective, the living dead that are everywhere dispersed among us, that are walking through life like NPCs, that are so far from waking up that they are nowhere near the end of their life sim cycle. The fact that we are going through what we're going through and we have awakened to this unreality of our existence shows that we're so far advanced in our life sim cycle that many of us will not be coming back into this sim. We have graduated. Once you have awakened to the fact that this reality is artificial, it has no more place. You're not a placeholder anymore. It has no more value to confine you. You are costing it energy by it having to create reality tunnels for you because you're not participating in dungeon programming. This disconnect that you feel is because you have rejected the collective programming. But at the same time, to me, what I'm hearing is someone that's carrying a little bit of baggage from the past. And that's what you need to break free from, because other people's opinions of you have nothing to do with anything but those other souls. But it sounds to me that you have borrowed from some of the energy of these individuals. Past trauma is nothing but energy that can be discharged back into the past. But to carry it into the present is to create barriers that are going to prevent you from moving forward. And in one of those methods that the construct uses to prevent you from moving forward is to keep you chained to the past. Me, I have totally broke free from my past. I have done amazing things that no one with my past has been able to do. And I have freely shared that with the community. Does my past come back to haunt me from time to time? Absolutely. But I don't owe anybody the respect of borrowing their opinions about me. I don't owe anybody any explanations as to any decisions that I make in my life, unless they're affected by that decision, and then I owe them the respect of explaining why I did something. In your case, I think it's as simple. I think overnight you could shift your whole perspective if you were to truly understand that every single moment is pregnant with possibility, and that you are living in the eternal now, and that nothing in the past has any bearing on any trajectory you're moving toward the future. You can let go of the fact that you feel this disconnect. You can let go of the fact that other people don't vibrate on your frequency and thrive in the individuality itself, because then you will start broadcasting a frequency that will draw kindred souls to you, and other people that are on that frequency are just going to naturally appear in your life, because that's what happens. You will attract everything that's on your frequency. If you're not attracting those things right now, it's because you're in dissonance with what you want. You need to figure out what that is. To me, it's very simple. Anytime we are not in vibration with the things that we want in life, and we're not experiencing them, because they're a want, which means you do not have. It's because you want these things, but you are not broadcasting the frequency of those things in those souls, that those type of relationships and contact. So it's very easy to switch that over, and it's not something that you per se have to do. I tell you guys a lot, or at least in my earlier videos, I used to say this a lot. I said, listen, if there's anything that you're trying to do in life and you think that you have to do it, then you're mistaken. You're mistaken. It's nothing to ask the oversoul for help. You'll always get it. You'll always get it in the weirdest way, and it's going to come. You're never going to be able to anticipate how it's going to come, but it's going to come. But that takes an admission that you have an oversoul, that you are moored to source, and that it does care for you. These are things you have to work out for yourself. This predestination idea that you just brought to my attention, it's toxic. This is religiosity. This is the idea that things are so predetermined that you would feel negative right now and question your whole reality. It's toxifying. It says, because it's not predestined. It's only predestined if you believe it's predestined. And then the simulacrum is going to reflect back as your personal experience. Every type of situation in your life will emerge that will justify your belief that, oh, this is nothing I could have done anyway. This is predestined. And then something else will happen that will give you more evidence that your existence here is predestined. And then the more phenomena that keep appearing in your life, because you've entered a feedback loop. This dungeon program is super toxic. When you identify yourself as being in a helpless trajectory, because everything is predestined, and that you don't really truly have control over the circumstances of your life. If this is your position, reality itself will reflect back as experiences more and more evidence that you will interpret as being there's nothing you could have done. It was all predetermined anyway. And once you've adopted that mindset, it's going to toxify other areas of your spirituality. Then you're going to, well, why should I even be good? Or why do I even care? I can just do whatever I want to do. It's all predestined anyway. And this feedback loop is going to spiral you down, and there's no good end for that type of thinking.
I agree. I mean, I don't think that way. I just, well, I agree with everything you're saying. Maybe I could, I don't know if because there's you have a lot of followers. I do change things all the time. I can't say that it directly affects me, and maybe I can email you this situation, or I don't mind sharing it. I'm okay with sharing what had happened 3 years ago, but because it was indirectly to me. But
don't something really intrinsically personal. You can email that to me. We don't do it here because I do have a lot of other people trying to.
I know, I see that. But yeah, so it's just kind of, I think if you understood, the background, because I don't live in the past, I really have created a really wonderful life for me. But it's just these little things that happen that make you question and dive a little deeper. And I guess it's just that wanting that understanding, and you have such a different perspective and insight. And if I am living in the past and I still need to heal, then please, yes, tell me so that I can bring it to the surface and head it straight on and be done with it. Because trust me, I'm trying to create this whole different.
Well, I mean, the past doesn't even exist anymore. The past is nothing but an energy field.
Yeah,
it's an energy field that can be reconstructed through perception. You have to understand this. The past is gone. It is. You are in a collapse. Well, basically, our experience right now is nothing but a series of probability molds that have collapsed into experience. However, just a few seconds ago is gone. It doesn't exist. It's now energy. That energy can be reconstructed through perception, through measurement, but it's gone. Just like the future doesn't yet exist anywhere except as energy. The beautiful thing about the past is that there are ways to modify your memory of the past. There are even government experiences where they have forced people through hypnosis to believe in a false past, which created a whole new present for them and opened up a totally different future. You understand? So if the future and the past exist today, but as energy, then that energy can be manipulated through perception. So there's nothing that ever happened to you in your past that can chain you to circumstance unless you allow it. How do you allow it? Through your perception of it. Your perception gives it life. Your perception of a past event collapses it back from probability into experience. How do you experience? Non-locally, through the agency of imagination. You literally poison yourself when you think about any past events that were negative. If you were to, because imagination is powerful, it is one of the only things the spirit can do. So, our spirits can't do anything but think. Spirits can't do anything but employ imagination, empathy, humor, intuition. These are all spiritual qualities, but that's all the spirit can do. The avatar is required to do anything in the realm of collapse. When all probabilities collapse into experience, it's the avatar that allows you to move through all this. So what I'm telling you is we're going to move on to the next person, but I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
If you were to rewrite your past by the agency of imagination and quit thinking about, well, the past is fixed, because it's not fixed. It is probability. It is probability molds of information. It is holographic. It's there. But if you want to experience a negative past, just remember the one you've already had. You understand? But it's not going to serve you. This is a magical construct. You can literally rewrite your experiences of the past by agency of imagination. And when that energy is changed, so is the energy on the opposite. Remember, this is a construct of dichotomy and polarity. It is good and evil. It is hot and cold. It is love and hate. These things identify each other by being opposites. The past and the future is the exact same way. And if you want a better future through imagination, rewrite your past. If you think there is a causal relationship between the past and who you are today, then just rewrite the past so the causal relationship creates the present that you want, which allows you to move through a different trajectory in the future. It's literally that simple. It's because we are spiritual beings and we are able to modify the energy through frequency. But if the frequency is bad, the modifications are going to be bad. And when they collapse into experience, it's going to be bad. So you have to do these things with positivity.
I agree. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just felt compelled to come on here. I guess somebody also was maybe asking the same question. And
I'm glad to meet you.
It was very nice to meet you as well. If I ever go through Texas, my mother lives in Texas. So if I ever go and visit her, I will send you an email and tell you I'm in the area.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Later.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. I got quite a few people backstage. Let me move through them. All right. Rum Fluffed Art. Oh my God. Is that the Scooby-Doo girl? Hold on here. All right. Are you the Scooby-Doo girl?
I It's so good to see you wearing it. It fits really well.
Wow. I love this. This is so badass. I'm such a kid.
The whole conversation that you've just had,
Yes.
I'm so glad you love it, leads to how that came about. Because I went to a meetup the first time last year, and I'd become unemployed and gone self-employed as an illustrator, and I wasn't getting any work. And I met somebody there who had that idea. It was his idea to do this.
Wow.
So
Are you
together-
Scottish? Are you Scottish?
Kind of. I haven't lived there for a lot of years.
Okay.
So
I love the artwork. You need to get in the underground and get in the underground personals and put that stuff out there, because I'm pretty sure we can drum up some business for you.
Oh, that would
I already got some business for you. I'll email you. But,
oh yeah, please. The
I like
other
that.
good story that it comes with is when I went to get the stickers to fit the size of the windows on the van, because I didn't want to destroy the original artwork.
Right.
I located somewhere very near to me, and I'd already had a job interview, and the onboarding had taken a long time. And when I went down and spoke to these people about getting the stickers, I ended up getting a job there, and I'm still working there now. So
That's
the
awesome.
synchronicity, so all about the vibes and, rebuilding and making life what you want it to be.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. This is a huge. Do you remember? You may not have read them, but do you remember the books from the 80s? Choose Your Own Adventure. You would read the first page, and then at the bottom it would give you two choices, and according to your choice, you would go to page 7 or you would go to page 2.
My brother had them. I never actually read them, but I know he had them. But I do know. Yeah. There's a lot.
That's what this experience is. It's you can, with our previous guest that was on before you, some people believe in predestination, and yes, to a degree, I can believe that our lives are already fully set. But I also believe that at the end of each life sim, there's going to be some type of review process, or none of this makes sense. And in that review process, there's going to be showing a trajectory. Here's the life that was set out for you. This was the programming for your avatar. Your avatar is made of the same materials of the construct itself. The only thing different is the soul that gets put in an avatar. So here's the trajectory of your life as we programmed it. Here's what you did. And some people are going to show up and down. Here's all the ups and downs, and then skyrocket. They became an errant. They broke free. It's going to show. You say, this is what happened to you. This is what happened to you. Some people, really faltered, got trapped in some really dark shit, and they went straight down. And
my hair changed color overnight when it happened to me. I was like,
wow.
14. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a spiritual awakening, and I went through a lot of transitions. At that time, I was going to a spiritualist church, and I was getting my chakras cleansed, and I was meditating, changing my diet. And it goes like this, because sometimes it's all too much. But now I feel like it's finally coming together.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
So I'll let you get on, but I just wanted to say hi. I'm so chuffed that it fits you, and thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. And so, you know what? We got a beautiful community, beautiful people in it. I love meeting you guys. But this right here, yeah, this right here is on top. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but I got so much stuff everywhere now. But it's I might put one of those Scooby-Doo stickers on my van. But
I'd like that. That'd be cool.
I know the refrigerator is gonna get some magnets. Yeah, I
Brilliant.
appreciate it. But yeah, I do have some ideas. So send me an email.
Yeah, well,
Because I definitely have some ideas that are Scooby-Doo related.
oh, lovely. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Good talking to you.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. That was awesome. Just talking about the Scooby-Doo stuff. Oh, we got Justin Holt. You doing a van vlog?
Yeah, no, I'm just getting off of work, man. How you doing, Jay? Nice to meet you.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm driving through the mountains, so if I start breaking up, just kick me right off of here.
All righty. What mountains you in?
Pennsylvania, up here at Appalachia, going from New Jersey back over to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're in the
but
old
I
mountains.
just wanted to, I'd say what's up to everybody in the chat, all the mods. They see me as Drunk Monk in there, so I just wanted to let everybody know, all the mods especially, thanks for always helping me out and everything like that, and welcoming me in.
Oh, I've seen you several times, Drunk Monk.
Yeah. No, I was curious because I think I'm late to the party with discovering you. I seen your stuff probably about a year ago and ordered all your books and wanted to read them first. And then, while watching your YouTube stuff, I just recently started watching a lot of lives because I was going back through all the playlists of the Giza Pyramid playlist and all the Epic Pods and all that, catching up on everything.
Right.
I wanted to call in before, and I read your books, and I got a bunch of the other old historical books. I got, Velikovsky and Harold T. and all those guys. But I read in one of your, I think it was Anunnaki Homeworld, where you say in 2106 is Return of the Stone Kingdom, right?
Right.
What is that like? What is that? Does that mean we're knocked back down to like hammers and chisels and stones, or is that like a different group of people coming in?
You know what? It's that whole concept comes from in the book of Daniel. We had the Babylon represented the head of gold, and then the shoulders and breastplate of brass represented Persia, or silver was Persia, and then the bronze brass was Greece, Macedonia, and let's see. In the statue of Nebuchadnezzar was the four basic metals that served as the how history was going to unfold after the prophet Daniel had interpreted the dream of Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. And it was going to be, the succession was going to be Babylon would fall to Persia, Persia would fall to Macedonia, to Greece, but Macedonia would break up into four sections, which would two sections, the Seleucids and the Ptolemies, which is exactly what happened. And then Rome would defeat Greece and the Ptolemies and the Seleucids of Syria, and Rome was the Iron Empire, but Rome itself would break into two parts, Eastern and Western, which was the two legs of the statue. But toward the end of Rome would fall and be absorbed by 10 toes, 10 kingdoms of clay, of miry clay mixed with iron. So we have the 10 tribes of Israel. We're going to actually effect the fall of Rome. And this is what Niccolo Machiavelli was talking about in his The Prince. He wrote a book called The Art of War. He wrote a book called The Discourses, and he wrote a book called The Prince. Niccolo Machiavelli, he spent his whole life researching all this, and he's got some compelling stuff, but he died of failure. Machiavelli died of failure because he always wanted to impress the Medicis, and he put all this research out and all this stuff, but they never took him in to be his patron. and he died penniless, and as you know how the story goes. But he was always trying to get the Medicis to highly regard him, accept him into the court. But in his writings, he literally explained, Niccolo Machiavelli, the famous Machiavelli, that the 10 tribes of Israel were the 10 toes. And those 10 toes were the 10 European families that came together under Odovacar the German and destroyed the Roman Empire in 476 AD. And so this 10 toes were 10 kingdoms that were going to exist all the way to the last days. In the very end of the calendar, even their world government was going to be destroyed by a stone uncut by human hands that would descend from the sky and break up all the metal kingdoms of the earth and establish a stone kingdom. So this is how we actually began. This is another reason why I say we're on a loop. I'm not saying that the prophecy of Daniel is absolutely accurate. I'm saying this was the belief system, the ideology of these people, that the empires of men were represented by precious metals in descending order from gold to iron, and then iron mixed with miry clay, and then it would be destroyed by a stone from the sky, which would destroy the kingdoms of the world and establish a new type of kingdom that was represented by rock. So the reason I believe one of the pieces of evidence that I believe that we're on a loop is not just chronological, as I've shown you, but it's also conceptual, because this concept from the ancient world of this stone kingdom coming is exactly how we found ourselves, humans, in the ancient past. The Technolithic period preceded the Heliolithic period, which was inferior, and the post-Heliolithic period, which is inferior to the Heliolithic. We find the oldest megalithic structures are the most advanced. You follow me? So
Yes,
what I'm seeing in the future is a return to the technolithic building. It's like humans came together to try to earthquake proof everything. They were a technologically advanced civilization that stopped building in normal materials, normal, steel frames and all that, and began building everything of nothing but stone, in different types of stone, and using the properties of those stones to do everything they needed to do, which is what we find in Pumapunka, in Tiwanaku, ancient Olympia, the whole entire Giza complex, the Great Pyramids. It's all technolithic. It's not Heliolithic, which was inferior. So these are concepts. I don't really know what exactly the stone kingdom entails. It looks rather dark to me, because all the good souls have been removed from the construct when the stone kingdom actually appears. So there is another body of eschatological beliefs about when God returns to the earth. He's not here to teach. He's not here to teach souls that already exited the construct. They've graduated and moved on. He'll be here for a while to teach all those who rebelled, those who didn't make it, those who are going to loop right back into the life sim cycle. He's basically here to inform them of the world they lost and how they're going back in and all the mistakes that they had made. So I don't believe the Stone Kingdom is a millennial type kingdom where all good things are going to be happening. It's going to be awesome. No. That's not that last 72 years between 2106 and total systemic reset of the Phoenix in 2178, the immortal looping number that we've talked about a lot. Now that 72 years is something else. It's it's like an instructional period, but the ones receiving it, it's just like the New Testament passage where it says that Christ descended into hell to go and preach to the souls that were lost. You understand? So that passage could have been borrowed from this concept, because you already know me. I'm not a literalist. I believe the entire gospel was genius literature. It was literary. It wasn't literal. So that's the best way I can answer that question. I just don't quite know. It seems to be the amalgamation of 2 or 3 different end of the world concepts.
Well, I think that's cool. I'm a union iron worker. I've been doing iron work since 2000. I've been doing this 26 years. So the architecture is interesting. I won't be around in 2106 to see how they do it, but moving those big blocks of stone. Like I was in Mexico, me and my wife went to Chichen Itza, and just like in the middle of the jungle, seeing something amazing built like that. And I've been to Coral Castle in Florida, like seeing that stonework.
Yeah.
Just seeing how they'd be able to do that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's most people don't have a clue how heavy rock really is. I spent years doing flagstone. I'm gonna tell you now, one flagstone, a lot of the flagstone I installed took 2 men just to move it. You know what I mean, and yeah, stone is unbelievably heavy. So when people see a picture of some of the stones at Cuzco or some of the stones, even the blocks of the Great Pyramid, yeah, 2.5 tons each. Those blocks, some of them are up to 20 tons. But like Baalbek, that one stone is still in the quarry at Baalbek. How in the hell we can't move it today? How in the hell did ancient engineers move that? So it's my personal opinion that the entire Technolithic and Heliolithic periods, the reason they're in the archaeological record as like a whole all over the world, Technolithic structures appeared at a certain time in the third millennium BC, and then it was just regular construction, regular ziggurats, regular temples, nothing extraordinary for over 1,000 years. And then in the second millennium BC, all of a sudden there was an explosion of Heliolithic architecture all over the world, but it was never finished. All the tools have been found in the workshop. The largest stones were still in the quarries at Easter Island, Olympia, also at Baalbek. The largest stones were never removed. Their construction was interrupted by something. Something happened that wasn't on their calendar. They had switched over to I've explained this in Archaix too. The 600-year Anuna-Ner system had switched over to the 552-year Phoenix cycle and caught them 48 years off. They thought they had 48 more years to earthquake-proof their civilizations, and they didn't. They got caught off guard in 1687 BC. But it's my opinion that the differences in architecture and the clustering of when the Technolithic appeared, then faded away over 1,000 years later, the Heliolithic appears, is because these types of construction were done during tertiary field events when weight, air pressure, everything was totally different. So, and what tertiary field collapsed, before they were expecting it to collapse, and they were unable to finish those constructions. They were unable to lift those blocks. Whatever technologies or whatever laws of physics were manipulated during the convergence field events were no longer accessible to them when those tertiary field events were done. Once they were back into like what we're experiencing now, base reality, that those feats were not done. This is why we can't figure them out. This is why there's 100 different YouTube channels and X channels and TikToks that are out there, thousands of them, that are showing all these ancient monuments that are mysterious. They are mysterious because we can't replicate them today, but we could under a whole nother environment. If you change the environment, it changes the sciences that are employed.
Jay, well, I'll let you get to somebody else, man, but it's been a pleasure talking to you, my brother.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, Drunk Monk.
Yeah, later, man.
Kick that gas. Who we got here? Brandon. Mr. Brandon.
Hey, what's going on, Jason? How you doing?
You, my son, need to be in radio broadcasting with that voice.
Thank you so much. Actually, I just first wanted to say congratulations on all your success. I've been following you mostly from behind the scenes for a long time. I talked to you on Santos's show on July 2nd, 2022, which was my born day. So that's how I remember it so well. And we had a great little conversation. And I do have a podcast. I have, I've done stuff my whole life. I'm a DJ. I'm a wedding DJ. Hey, if anyone's getting married out there, you're not going to find a taller wedding DJ than me because I'm 6'5". Anyway,
wow.
So I want to say congratulations. And I also work a lot with humor. And I wanted to just talk about that because it seems that your community is so amazing. They have such a great sense of humor. You're hilarious, even though you don't even mean to be a lot of times. I think it's just the way that you approach life, and it really says a lot about your character. And I see that you're always trying to explain to people in your ways, and it's really great how you do it, about how they can change their own life and how they can lift themselves out of some kind of pit that they're in. And I think one way that you do it without even knowing it is just your cool attitude and like the way you approach it. And I just wanted, to talk a little bit about humor and how it's affected you throughout your life, if you don't mind.
Well, okay. Well, in order to talk about such a light subject, we're going to have to entertain a dark one.
Let's do it.
So 26 years in maximum security is not an easy environment to navigate, but a real strong soul, and I'm not the only one. There were others, and humor is the only way to really break up a bleak monotony. So now I'm going to admit, you guys haven't heard me in my penitentiary humor, because that's a different type of humor, and I can't even tell you the jokes I know on YouTube. It just wouldn't. There's no way. But humor is entirely spiritual. So I'm just going to ask you a question. Have you ever heard a turtle laugh?
No.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Now, we know that there's a wide range of emotional experience among the animal kingdoms, but humor itself seems to be not just with humans, but I'm talking about the upper developed mammals. Those would be the domesticated ones and primates. Humor is in chimpanzees and gorillas. They experience humor. They can laugh at things, but they're also very close to they're hominid. They're very close to being us, really close. But also those that have a lot of experience with humans. I don't know about cats, but I know dogs experience humor as well. They can see that something is funny, and if not funny, it's exciting to them because humans are laughing. You understand? Yeah. But humor to me is entirely spiritual. It's one of those phenomena like intuition, imagination, and empathy that really cannot be explained by cognition. There's just no way that thinking alone, which if we assume to be true what we're taught, that thought isn't, the brain produces thought. I don't believe any of that shit. I believe the brain is a resonator. It's a broadcaster. It's a receiver. All those neural networks are designed to receive information in the field. I've given demonstrations right here on the Archaix channel of just pulling data from the field. Yeah, I do it in Q&As all the time, and I don't believe the brain stores information. I believe the brain has all the access codes to get the information that's already in the field. But humor is going to be spiritual, and I believe it comes from those who have experienced more life, who are cynical. Being cynical is actually very healthy, because it allows you that eternal optimism is a poison. And it's a poison because you're not really looking through the correct filters. The world is a positive place because you want it to be, but it's only positive for you. There are millions and millions of souls that are not having a good experience here at all, but we ignore all that in order to promote positivity. So I'm naturally a cynic, but I don't convey that. It's not my place right now to impose upon others a lot of the dark things I see about reality, because the more I analyze the reality, it's a beautiful, magical structure that we're flowing through, and we can make the best of it. And we can also make the best of it in humor. But when you really pay attention to the details around you, this is a dark, nefarious construct. It is evil to the core, and it masks everything as good. And we have become so desensitized to the predator versus prey ecosphere that we don't even see what's really going on around us. It is horrendous that life forms must tear into and rend and murder other life forms in order just to sustain themselves. So yeah, it's all hidden from us. We do a fantastic job of putting the blindfolds on. But yeah, humor allows us to cope with that. I believe humor is divine. And I also, as I've told my community many times, Brandon, I believe that humor is probably one of the greatest spiritual traits, and that the oversoul is way cooler than any of us have ever are even prepared to receive. Well, yeah. And I think we're a lot closer to the oversoul than we think, and that we're in this disconnect This experience is a disconnect because the oversoul is purity. But what happens in here is not purity. It's quarantined, and it's quarantined for a reason, so souls can develop, mature, grow on, and move on. And I believe this is only one experience. But yeah, man, I think humor is one of the greatest tools ever.
Yeah, that really resonates with me, what you say. I've explained it before, like this universe or experience. It's like a giant ball busting machine. It's going to keep trying to just throw you off your center. And if you could just surf with it, and I know it's easy for me to say because I'm 6'5" and I look like this and I sound like this. That's why I just work on writing and stuff like that, because it's tough to try to tell people. I've learned that. I'm like, just be, and they're like, well, look at you, Brandon. It's easy for you. So, but no, I really enjoyed talking with you, and I wanted to highlight humor because I think it is so overlooked. And like you said, I really think God, the oversoul, whatever you want to call him, he is a comedian to the core. I mean, some of the things that happen to me or anybody, you're just like, how did that happen? And it's like you said, it's like a coincidence. There's no way it would have normally happened in a regular physical universe. Like this just does not make sense. Anyway, yeah. I'll let you run. Oh, no, go ahead if you had something to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm good. I was agreeing with you. It's absolutely. So what is your podcast?
So on YouTube, it's Brandon Bonanza, and I used to do the Oversharing show. We had contacted you a couple of years ago, if that sounds familiar, but it was at a time when you were kind of blowing up. So, I get it, but I don't do that show anymore. I just do Brandon Bonanza, and I'm working on something getting together with my wife also. But I have tons of stuff, and also I wrote a book, Shadow Worked, and worked like ED, like worked past tense, and I'm working on some other stuff. So you can go to, I think it's shadowwork.com I have.
Well, hey,
yeah.
Well, my email is Archaix138 Gmail. Listen, you have a very, very distinct voice.
Thank you.
More so than mine. You want to pick a topic that you really want to explore? You just want to bounce back and forward? I can give your podcast a boost. You can come on Archaix. Pick a topic or some topics, and you can come on Archaix, and we'll just chop it up for a couple hours. And
yeah, that sounds great. I feel like we've this is a long time coming. Just I've been listening to you a while, and I think it's going to be great. So I appreciate it. But yeah, I'll totally shoot you an email after this. It's and if anybody needs a DJ as their wedding, or I also do tarot readings, mostly for men. I was a Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps, did 4 years active duty. I'm going to be 50 this year. I talk about this in my book. I had severe intimacy issues, I guess you could say. I don't like to be PG-13, but I've overcame all that in my own life, and I'm married now. I got married last year. I have an amazing wife. So I'm all into that stuff. If you're a guy that's out there, hit me up, Brandon at comedylol.com. I do tarot readings, whatever you want. I'm into Jesus. I could talk about Krishna. That's my anything. So, but I'm definitely going to shoot you an email, Jason. I really appreciate it.
Listen, well, we can talk about Krishna, Jesus, whatever you want to talk. Just put a list of topics together, and we'll talk.
Yeah, we could talk about the Bhagavad Gita. I've studied that a lot. So, and I know you like to talk about it. So we could even talk about how it fits in.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Arjuna was a little conflicted, but I'm cool with it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, brother. It was nice chatting with you. And thanks, everybody. You guys are an amazing community. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, Brandon. I got 2 knuckleheads coming on after you.
All right. Take care. Have fun.
Yeah, man. That's 2 knuckleheads. I can see y'all backstage. You ain't hiding from me. Let's see. All right. Yeah, Brandon. I'll have Brandon on the channel. We'll kick it about something. Nelson Perez, how you doing? I just saw you pop up right here in this chat. Yeah, man. Look at these two. Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Yeah. Do we have any audio?
Yeah. Your audio's great.
All right, good.
Fantastic.
I was worried about that. I thought we might have to crouch up on the laptop.
Yeah, man. Why do you have 2 doors side by side? You actually need them on top of each other as tall as you are.
That's all he ever says. Talk about that 6'6" ass again.
Yeah.
2 doors go into the tool shed, Jason.
Yeah, you make me look short. I'm not short. You make me look short, though.
I like
not cool, man.
And even shorter.
So look who I found in Middle Tennessee, y'all.
Yeah, man.
Say, Avatar.
Found my way.
The world-renowned mechanic, organizer, shelf builder.
Man, Wit, OG face diaper. Wit,
Oh yeah, don't leave Wit out of this.
Wit and Justin, man. Let me tell you something. Between the two of them, they were here 20 days. Between the two of them, they overlapped. They were both here like 10 or 11 days, but there was 1 day overlap where they were both here. And let me tell you something, man. These guys saved my bacon.
It was a pleasure. I was thinking we can call it Archaix 1 for the whole. That's the domain. Archaix 1.
Okay.
Domain for what?
Or Phoenix 1.
Phoenix 1.
Domain for what?
Just where
He's
your
naming
new
the
home.
place. He's
Your
naming the
new home
property.
is Archaix 1.
Oh yeah.
Flagship
Well, this,
Archaix
Or
1.
Phoenix 1. That's what I
well, look, this is just a stepping stone, man. This right here was needed. I needed a 4-bedroom house for everything I'm trying to do. But you already know this is a stepping stone because I'm moving toward 100 acres.
That's right.
Because I really want to do the Archaix complex. I just want to do it legally because I'm not going to have the government coming here and
Yeah, well, the
correct.
intelligence services thinking we're a cult, but we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to have the government coming and crash compound me. I'm going to do it right. Have Montgomery County code compliance come in here, tell us what we can and can't do, what we can build. Because I build good barn dominiums. You've been on my other property in Willis, man. Those barn dominiums, yeah, we can. Yeah, those are awesome little miniature hotels. Yeah, I would like to have about like 20 of them on 100 acres in a forest, and yeah, have the Archaix library surrounded by people who will protect it. And yeah, man,
There's about 100 other people with that exact vision and that exact dream.
yeah, that's where I'm going. But in order to do that, this was necessary. This is a stepping stone. I don't know. I might be here 12 months. I only leased it for 12 months, but after I moved in and got to know the landlord and all that, she's like, shit, if you want it for 24 months, just let me know. I said, they thought I was a risk at first, and they realized I was actually a boon. So anyway,
Good news.
I don't want to commit to the 24 months because I don't know how fast the oversoul is going to make things happen.
That's what I'm saying, man. And maybe even the states aren't the place to do it. What's wrong with Mexico or Nicaragua or Belize?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about leaving. I get it. I get it that there's a lot of negativity about living in the United States, and people think things are going to go dark real fast and all that. They're all bumps in the road to me.
Well, all those indicators are there. Whether they balloon goes up or not is anybody's guess. And like you always say, can we live in the same world but a different universe?
Absolutely. There's never been a time in history, where everything was bad for everybody. There has always been communities that didn't even know something was happening, and they thrived. I mean, it's the whole history of the world. Through every single
goes on in Panama, and people right next door don't even see the sun doing all that. How'd that happen?
Man. Yeah, man. This like I tell you all the time, our world is not what you think. It's that there are people who build insular communities that are immune to everything else going on in the world, and it's not because of any special power. It's because the energy that they are emitting and working together literally charges the field.
That frequency. Putting copper in the ground, electric culture, everybody's hugging trees. I don't know, doing ayahuasca together, eating clean food.
Yeah, man. This is why intelligence agencies have infiltrated every single truther community has been infiltrated by intelligence agencies because they know that dynamic. They know. So they stay on top of shit like that. Now they know with Archaix that we're not trying to change the world. We believe the world's effed. You know what I mean? Not trying to change the world. We're just trying to change our world.
Just trying to pass through it.
Going through it.
Yeah, man. And it's not threatening at all to the establishment. I don't give a damn about that.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Right on.
I'm here. I made it. I just want to say hi to everybody.
So we're going to meet up with Cug here in a few minutes, I guess. He's working today, but
what? How far do you live from Cug?
He's about 45 minutes up the street.
Listen, man.
Yes.
Listen. I know you guys are in the right neck of the woods. Now, I'm willing to dig in my pocket. But you guys got to find me a moonshiner out there somewhere because I lost my moonshine connection. I had a moonshine connection outside of Asheville. I don't know what happened to him. They dropped off the map. I lost contact with them.
I carried 2 bottles with me the last time I was there and brought them back home with me.
So good. that guy who made that stuff, man, is so good.
Yeah, it's still easy to find. I know a guy that knows a guy that might know a guy.
Okay.
That's the guy.
All right. Well, I got Jay-Z coming on after you guys.
Well, get
Oh,
Jay-Z
sweet.
up here.
Yeah,
We're
get
just
Jay-Z
killing
in
time
there.
being idiots.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Hey, Jay-Z was capping, really. He wanted the whole world to see. He had a super hottie with him, traveling all over the place. Yeah, I saw his pictures. I'm like, look at this guy here.
Living large, man.
Living
All right.
large.
Good
Yeah,
point.
Loving it.
Yeah,
All right.
he's traveling all over the United States with a model. Yeah, man. All right. Well, hey, look, I'm gonna tell you this before you go, Jeff.
Yeah.
If there are any appliances in motors that anything that you need help with working, listen, man, this guy here, he's
you read
too
what-
honest. This guy here, I had no idea he had all these skill sets. He blew my mind. But yeah, man,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
we didn't even have the right tools to change out the stuff in my engine. I'll be damned, this dude just made the tools. Like, you know what, man?
You make me all
It's too
red.
much. You're too much.
It's nice to have a go-to guy.
Yeah, man.
And a go-to guy with skills, you can't beat that. I've got a
Yeah,
project for my AC went out. We already
That's right.
talked about it. I got
Already
3
talked
boxes
about
of parts sitting in the living room.
There you go. That's all I did. I went to AutoZone, bought the parts, and that man put it together. My truck's been this truck here. I hate. I'm still bragging about it, but it's silent. It's a 21-year-old engine, a 5.7 Hemi V8. It is absolutely silent. He had to even ask me if the truck was on.
Is that Dodge truck he's had?
It purrs like a kitten, man. I think it's
Yeah, truck is awesome. This dude spent his life just decking it out. No, he did not want to sell it, but his wife wasn't trying to hear it.
Oh, it's a different truck then. It's not that one that we rode in.
no.
Okay.
You're talking about the black Ram. I don't drive that anymore.
Stepped it up.
Yeah, man. All right, well, I'm gonna bring Jay-Z in here.
All right,
Nice to see you, man. Thanks for doing what you're doing.
much
Yeah.
love,
I'm gonna
everybody.
Let the
I'm
crowd
gonna
let
get y'all
y'all
off.
hear.
I'm gonna get y'all off the screen before Justin tries to fix something else.
Kick us off. Kick us off.
Yeah, man. Jeffrey Bailey and Justin, they're both moderators here. Jay-Z, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm great. Say you have done a fantastic job on all those 2026 isometric projection analysis and using, was that Claude AI? Is that Claude AI
Yeah.
you've been using to put
Yeah.
together all these government document synopsis?
Yeah, so a friend of mine about maybe 4 years ago really got into explaining to me how the contract world works and the whole behind the scenes kind of negotiations and proposals. And here's how it works kind of in a nutshell. All the things that we witness and we see that are coming from all these NGOs and agencies around the world, including agencies here in the States. These are publications like the WTO, the WEF, the Bank for International Settlements, BlackRock. Everybody has these publications that they're producing all the time. Now, these publications, the best way to think about this is to look at these and think about these as concepts and ideas about the lockstep agenda for the future.
Right.
So what it doesn't mean is it doesn't mean that all these things are happening. What it does mean is all this information is being floated into the field. So it starts out as kind of a proposal, like we believe these components need to exist in the future, like eat Z-bugs and all this other weird stuff, right? And so, and in a way, these are concepts and ideas that have manifested. But here's where it gets interesting. Where it gets interesting is that the elite control mechanism, this infrastructure, whatever it is, that controls these concepts, ideas, they do honor contracts. And so these concepts and ideas start in one position where they are given to the world. They're put on social media, they're put on, television, all these different forms of media, so that they can be absorbed into people's mindset. but they stay there for a very long time. So nothing is really rushed. These concepts and ideas go way back. We know this. We've looked at the books. We have the books. I've got them. You've got them. We know these concepts, ideas have been floating around for a really long time. And we can look at the history and see this stuff. But when it comes where it comes together is when we put into contractual form. And that's when we do things today, where we exist in the reality today, is through executive orders. So anybody sitting in that chair that's under that contract with the quote unquote government and has that role as the president is obligated to sign whatever they stick in front of them.
Yeah, he's still subject to all the previous agreements.
Correct. Yeah. And so what you'll notice, and what I notice is going through all this stuff is that the not all the executive orders are commitments to the concepts and ideas that exist in this realm of publications. Some of these publications are put there for distractions, things that aren't really going to happen. They're there for maybe something that's going to happen a decade from now. So they're not all designed to be accepted in reality at one given time frame. They're there to kind of build this kind of energy, if you will. So it's an energy towards this lockstep that's ultimately taking place. Anyway, I just thought it was really interesting. So that stuff is fascinating to me, and I really got into it big time.
You did. Let me give an observation of what I saw when I was going through your X feed. Because I was listening to all these awesome AI compilations of decoding what the trajectory of all these documents and what they mean. So 6 years and 5 years ago, I was releasing predictions videos just based off of something very simple, just the isometric projections using 1998 and using 1973 as epicentral years. Those are the only 2 dates I was focused on. So only later did I start using 1902 as an epicenter. Only when I figured out it was an epicenter. Remember, I showed the pyramid of 1902.
Yep.
That was a shock to me.
You got me hooked, Brian.
Yeah, that was a shock to me. So this is what I saw when I was reviewing the AI analysis of the stuff that you put together from these isometric projections. It blew my mind to see, because the AI analysis literally described Texas as becoming an economic and military and scientific superpower, and that the elite are moving their assets to Texas, and they're doing it over a 15-year period, very slowly, making it look natural, but it's not natural. They're flooding. Texas already has a massive infrastructure. We export electricity to 17 or 18 other states and produce our own electricity. And we have the refineries and all this. Well, all these Silicon Valley is slowly emptying out into Austin, Texas. All these tech companies are coming here to Texas. Well, I didn't know any of this. I'm just doing very simple isometric projections based off 1998 and 1973. And I released those predictions videos in 2020 and 2021, where I literally said that Trump is going to come back. This is after January 6th. I said Trump is going to come back, and he's going to take a major role in U.S. politics in the controlled collapse of the Democratic Party. And I said this when the Democratic Party was at their height, when they had just taken over, when Trump was out of office, and everybody's looking at me stupid. I mean, I took a lot of bullshit for doing this back then. Especially, this was the height of the Patriot pacification movement on YouTube. And I'm saying the exact opposite of everybody else. And now, man, you don't understand. Trump is coming back. This is not the end. The Democrats have not seized total control. This isn't the new normal. COVID is going to end within 18 months. All my predictions videos are talking about this is not new normal. COVID is going to end. It's not going to be mandatory. The lockdowns are going to be lifted. This is not a new normal. I said all the isometrics are very clear. This is a part of the controlled collapse of the Democratic Party and the rise of a Christian Reich, a political party that is going to be based off a Christian base. And this is what's going to develop in the United States. And all of this has come to pass. So I literally, but in those predictions videos, I said it shows right here clear as day in these isometrics that Texas may secede from the United States, or it may become a power base within the United States, maybe even a new capital. But Texas is going to be militarily, scientifically, economically, and infrastructurally empowered here in the United States. It's going to be the center of power for the U.S. And I didn't know any of this stuff about this AI analysis. When you put that out, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, such confirmation, man.
Yeah.
So
I actually, honestly, I didn't know how to do this research without first finding you. Hang on, I got a call coming in. I didn't know how to do this type of conceptual thinking. Like, I had some ideas in my head about how disruptive everything is. I mean, I had some basic concepts, and I had a feeling inside, my gut was telling me things. So when the 2020 event took place, I knew that it was time for me to get to work, because I was being put into a position where basically everything that I had worked for was on the verge of being, in my mind, not saying it actually happened or was true, but conceptually in my mind, I was thinking it was about to be wiped away. Potentially, it could be wiped away just from some bizarre behavior that's happening in lockstep around the world. And so I had I had to go to work. And through that mindset of research and discovery deeper than what I'd done before in the past, someone introduced me to you, one of my buddies. And he was like, "Hey, I think you're going to like this guy. You might want to check out his stuff." And that was early 2021. So about a year after all that started, and I was digging deep, and that really got me going. But then what really piqued my interest out of really probably the most of the stuff that you go through is just this rhythm that exists, this mathematical rhythm that's in place. And what I found is you're not alone, Jason. There's others out there that have seen this and witnessed them. And you brought them up. You brought them up in your teachings, but there's others as well. And so what I began to do is take your concepts and ideas that you are teaching, and then take some concepts and ideas of a similar type of rhythm that has been isolated or has been captured by another group that has actually seen this stuff, kind of mesh all that together and introduce that to the AI. And use that as like what they call the soul MD, the basis for concepts and ideas and thinking. So that way, when I'm introducing information into the AI, because I'm controlling how it's being processed, then I can use that as the basis for staying very, very focused mathematically, very focused on these specific concepts and ideas. But yeah,
I do remember when I remember your reaction to something. I didn't know that you had been profoundly influenced by the 1902 pyramid. You know what I mean? Showing how the Civil War unfolded exactly like World War II and going in opposite directions. That I didn't know you were influenced by that. But I did follow one of your posts when you had talked about holy shit, the Seven Seals pyramid. The forward and backward on the Seven Seals. That's the one I knew you were.
Man, now that stuff, because I'm basically a huge geek, so I need stuff like that. And so when that stuff enters my field and I've got access to it, my mind just goes crazy. And then so I want to try to start solving this stuff mathematically and all that stuff. So it hit me in ways like I really enjoy. Here's a couple of things I really enjoy about my experience of getting to know your work. Number one, when I first was introduced to you, I had about 20 books in my library, and they were just kind of random stuff. Right. I had some books on, improving my life. I had books on business. I had books on all these, just, healthcare. I had some religious books, just kind of a mixed bag. And then, man, you started showing those books, and I was like, whoa, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what so now, here, I'll show you. Now kind of here's what let's see, I think I can turn the camera around. Let's see. 1 second. This is what you did to me. this is what happened.
Oh, that's
And,
nice, man. That's real nice.
so over the years, this has just been growing. And there's my wife that went with me to Florida. Yeah. So all this right here, I didn't even have a shelf. I didn't even have a shelf in my little office here. But I started getting so many books. It started out with kind of like an open shelf
Yeah.
container type thing.
That's
And then
nice,
I
man.
was like, I got to build something out, man. I got to because I've got all kinds of crazy stuff. So I've got like a whole thing on older books. But anyway, at the end of the day, you kind of lit this fire inside of me that I didn't realize I had. But when it got going, I just can't turn it off at this point. It's kind of who I am. And I wanted to say something real quick about what you guys were talking about a little earlier with our experiences and how we direct those experiences. So right now I'm studying Neville Goddard. Have you studied some of his work at all?
I've listened to 2 or 3 of his videos when I'm just working on different stuff. I haven't seen any of his books.
But man, they're powerful. It's pretty interesting. So his entire message back in the 1940s and 50s and 60s was this idea that it's basically exactly what you've been saying this whole time. Awaken the spirit within. Is that the eyes and the mind are projectors, and they're projecting out, and what we see inside is we're projecting out into the world, and that becomes our reality. That becomes the manifestation of what we experience, how we exist. So I'll tell you, and I believe that's very, very true. So wow, how long has it been now? 20 years ago, I was a drug addict. 20 years ago, I decided I had enough. I was just done. It'd been about 15 years of me being on and off using drugs. And in 2006, I was like, man, I am just done. Matter of fact, I'm about to hit 20 years in like 2 weeks. And I was just done. I had reached the final rock bottom. So at that point, no one told me to do this. It was inside of me that I needed to surrender, because I didn't have the capability to make the proper decisions to direct my own life. Everywhere I looked, I saw damage. I saw brokenness and all the things I had done in that state. And so I went through this whole process. I went through I was very blessed to have some really encouraging people around me that I could trust, that could help me break free of this stuff. Because this was from birth, right? It was trauma from birth that was inside of me that I had never loosened the grips. It was still holding me tight. And I didn't know what was going on, because I'd never had any kind of teaching to tell me anything different. I mean, you don't know what you don't know until you know. And they're like, whoa, okay, makes sense now. So I went through a series of trainings and series of experiences where you actually do exercises, like exercises in a group setting. And it was a program that Dr. Phil put together way back in the 80s, long time ago. And I went through this experience, and what it did was it gave me the option to decide if I wanted to take a new path in life. I didn't have to, but it was sitting right in front of me. Do I want to take a new path in life? And at that time, I was fully broken. I'd lost everything, lost my wife, my previous marriage, living in my parents' spare bedroom, didn't have a job, didn't have anything, just completely broke, didn't have a clue where I was going in life, lost my career, everything. But I had a fresh start. But the thing is this, I was always wanting a fresh start. I kept hearing it in the back of my head. You need a fresh start, dude, fresh start, dude, fresh start. But I didn't know exactly how that was supposed to happen. But when it did happen, all the pieces came to me, because I decided in 2006, after going through these programs, and I invested 3 years to this. So from 2006 to 2009, all I did was just study and go to these groups and go to all these programs to cleanse my mind. And essentially, all I was doing was just healing myself and forgiving myself for everything I was hanging on to. So I was experiencing for the first time in my life was self-worth. I was like, what is this? You mean I'm actually worth something? And so when you go through that part, when I went through that, not you, me, when I went through that entire phase, I was introduced, things came into the field to me to help me. These things manifested to help me in this process because I knew I needed a fresh start. I knew I needed a new beginning. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is this is a choice that we make. And it's, for me personally, it started with surrender. I had to reach the place where I realized that I didn't have the ability inside of me to be able to achieve some sort of mature experience in life. I was still operating as a minor, a child. As an adult, I was still, having childish behaviors that were breaking me on a regular basis. So through that manifestation, all those years ago, I decided that I was going to start manifesting everything. And I was going to start using my mind to see through my eyes things that didn't exist yet. And it worked. And it's amazing what happens because a person like myself can do this as often and as frequently as we want. We can turn off that switch to all the other things that try to drag us into this dungeon programming. And we have the power inside of us to just shut it off. Not going to do it. No, I don't believe that.
Can I tell you what happened can I tell you what your experience did to the field and why everything changed? Well, what I just heard you say, what I just heard you say, but from a field construction point of view. You want to hear it?
Yeah, of course. Go, man. Go.
Okay. When you got to rock bottom, when you got all the way to the bottom, your journey to the bottom was absolutely full of anxiety for everything that you saw that was slipping through your fingers. Anxiety was attached to attachments, to relationships, to physical objects, things that you saw that you were losing, and you're going in the opposite direction that you want to go. But when you finally just let go, you said you surrendered. It is the act of surrendering. It is the discharge of anxiety. With the anxiety being discharged, you completely divorced yourself from all the things that your former attachments. That discharging that anxiety by just surrender, just simply surrendering. Say, man, I'm going to go in a whole new direction. The past is done. And you literally discharged from all the tendrils of the past. When you severed those connections to the past, you opened up nothing but possibility. There's nothing else out. There's nothing but possibility left. So it is the act of surrendering to whatever situation you're in right now, accepting it for what it is, and deciding to move forward, which discharges the anxiety. And as I've said in the past, anxiety is what keeps you moored to everything negative in your life. So yeah, man, surrender is what you did. It's field coherence. You literally detached from a whole echelons of negative frequencies by that surrender. Which opens you up to all kinds of other frequencies that bring new possibilities. I say it all the time. Every single moment is pregnant with possibility. We just don't ever take the opportunity to move in a new direction because we're always attached to something through anxiety.
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, I'm super grateful. I wake up with this feeling of gratefulness and thankfulness and being blessed. I really do. I remember that first time I actually felt that. I'd never felt it before. And I was in my 30s when I went through all this stuff. And I realized I hadn't actually understood the true meaning and of gratefulness, thankfulness, and mercy until I had gone through the first series of that training I just described to you. And I woke up from a long, these are exercises where you leave and you go somewhere and you stay there for like 3 or 4 days, and you go through and it's just nonstop of these exercises of deep dive, and you're doing it with strangers. So there's no one, you don't know anyone in the room. There's 100 people. There's an attorney, there's a doctor, there's somebody who just graduated college, there's a grandmother. It's everybody, a plumber, doesn't matter who it is. Everybody's all in the same place at the same time going, why are we here? Why can't I feel anything? Why do I hate myself? Why can I never get anything right? And we were all there for surrender. I mean, and we have different outcomes, obviously. with all that. But the surrender was the and
So hold on, stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. The surrender was what? It was the pattern break.
the pattern break.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what it was. It was the pattern break. Because remember, this experience, Jay-Z, this similosphere, that's what I call it. It's, you know what? It's always going to reflect back as experience how you see yourself. So if you're in descending node, it's going to bring more experiences that validate the idea that you're descending, which increases the anxiety, which increases the tailspin. And then finally, the pattern break was when you just surrendered. That's total pattern break. Discharge of anxiety. Now you can move in a whole new direction, free of encumbrance. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I learned that it was okay to not do it alone. To do it. Don't try these things that have captivated us. This trash magnet up here, until we change that, right? It's just a trash magnet for all kinds of just disruptive things that break us and destroy us. Until you break free of that and you convert that of what that is. I mean, I had voices in my head, Jason. I had things talking to me. I had noise inside my mind for the first 30 years of my life was just noise. And I thought that was normal. I just thought that was how everybody lived until after I went through that experience. And I realized that noise was these negative tapes, these negative experiences playing in my mind, keeping me trapped in that place. But anyway, yeah, what else I want to tell you was the creating your existence and being that creator of this experience is extremely powerful. It's what we're all supposed to be doing, especially if you are in this errant community. Is creating that. And so the first thing, the first part of that process is letting go and getting out of that cycle and leaving that cycle behind. But so when you do that and you've done it, I've done it, when you break and you free yourself of that cycle, then you just have this huge entire palette and you can paint whatever you want. And you just decide what that looks like. And I'll tell you this, my beautiful wife that you saw in those pictures.
She is beautiful. Absolutely.
I thought her up in my mind, Jason.
Wow.
A year before I met her, I had already crafted her. I could see her, and I hadn't met her yet. But I knew that I was going to find somebody who would respect me, would love me, would be by my side, be loyal, represent me, be a part of me, and take this journey. And I already saw it. And I knew she was going to be blonde. I knew so many things I can't tell you on this call right now. But I knew a lot of things.
Keep it PG-13, bro.
Let me just tell you that we have the ability, and I've witnessed it dozens of times. As a matter of fact, this house I'm living in right now, I manifested this house starting when I was 15 years old. I already saw it. Matter of fact, I was an artist in high school, and I crafted this concept in my mind as a kid when I was in high school. And then as time went by and all the distractions and all the chaos that came into my life sent me all these different directions. And as that ended, the visions from my childhood came back. Matter of fact, I had visions that I'd forgotten about. I had commitments that I made to myself, negative commitments about how I was going to model my life that were so backed up and buried that I didn't even know they were there. I just had to quiet my mind, and they started revealing themselves. I would have dreams. I'd wake up and be like, whoa, what the heck just happened? I had forgotten about something I decided when I was like 8 years old. And it didn't show up for like 30 something years later. And all of a sudden it's popping in my head. I'm like, holy smokes, where'd that come from?
Yeah,
but
man.
It's because I quieted my mind. But we can all do this. I'm working on some big things right now. that I'm really excited about for the future. As it relates to Archaix, I'm a passive participant. I got a lot of stuff going on that's really important to me. And as I hear something, as I have some free time and something comes up and I'm watching something and something sparks in my head, I'm like, oh man, Jason just nailed something right there. And then I just roll with it. So it's pretty inconsistent.
Well, I mean, say, listen, our underground community appreciates all your contributions, man. And a lot of people follow you on X too, because it's amazing. Listen, it's amazing. I'm just one guy. And there's no way I can do everything. There's just not. So to see guys like you and others to pick up the torch and go in different directions. We got like in Cypher, we have a master class where these guys have taken the Opus algorithm to a whole nother level and use the concepts to further develop other routines, operations, and algorithms and add it to. It's like, it blows my mind. It's like, it's awesome. And there's no way one soul could ever do that much. I am going back to first principles. And what I mean is this move was necessary for me. And I envisioned this move as well. I just didn't know exactly how it was going to come or how fast it was going to come, but it did. It just came fast. So, but it was necessary because there's a massive amount of data I still need to release, and I have it because I got wound up doing all these other rabbit holes and all these other things. But I want to bring it back in. I want. There's so many other topics, and I need to get back into chronology and showing these beautiful patterns all throughout history and how they relate to 2026 and 2027 and 2028. That's why. I'm going back to the old Jason. Even my diet, my exercise, and the things that I used to do, I started listening to people dictate the terms of my existence and why the construct would make me unhealthy if I participated in this and this. But that wasn't my experience. My experience has always been, I'm going to let my hormones, my enzymes, and my peptides take care of anything that gets in my body. I'm going to let the oversoul worry about my avatar. I ain't worried about my avatar. It's a part of the construct. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I always stayed absolutely physically fit and healthy. As soon as I started listening to the health nuts, I went nutty. So, you know what? I'm not trying to hear it, man. I'm going back to first principles. I'm about to do some shockingly awesome videos, but I'm also back on my push-ups, my rowing machine, my squats, my burpees, and I'm eating what I want to eat. I'm not going to sit here and police myself and sit there and write this into my code that certain things are bad for me. That's not how I live my life. So, I'm not doing that anymore.
Hey, I'm with you on your concept for the 100 acres. I love it. Matter of fact, I'm working on something right now that I've been manifesting for a long time, and really just letting myself kind of go back to my childhood, to this place where there was so much innocence before all the chaos started. And through that, I've created a concept that doesn't exist in Texas right now. It does. I've researched months and months, and it just doesn't exist. I even had AI go out and try to find anything close to what I've come up with, but it's similar in nature. It's a place for people, to go and do this thing. So I've written my business plan.
We may need to do something in the underground, like start a whole page. You know how we got all those spaces, like 40 something spaces? We may need to, we may need to start a space just to start the dialogue going, where people can. We may have a lot more people on board with that than you need. I'm going to tell you now, right here where I'm at, there are areas right here along the edge of Sam Houston State Forest. There are 100, 200, and 300 acre areas everywhere out here for sale. And I was looking at some recently. I'm like, damn, man, I would have to pay, Montgomery County to come here and put utility poles. And these are butt naked lands covered in trees, and you can remove the trees you want for your community, come in with tractors and build your tanks and ponds and all that. But you know what? There are so many properties out here for sale. It's been on my mind heavily, and beautiful treed hardwoods. I'm talking about oak properties. I don't like pine. I don't even want pine on my property, but there's whole areas out here that are just covered in beautiful hardwoods. And they're all for sale. There's so much land for sale. It's not, you're never going to own anything. It's really a 99-year lease agreement with the government, but still.
Yeah, correct.
That's what property ownership really is.
Correct. Yeah, they allodial title was removed by the Crown. Gosh,
At this point, it's 2026, so it doesn't even matter. So you know what I mean?
right?
99 years
Who
is more than
cares,
enough for us.
man? Who even cares? We're just doing our thing. So we we need to do our thing, and we need to live the fullest through all of that. Let life do out there what it's going to do, and we create our own kind of concepts and realities for what we find beautiful. My goal is to be able to create something for whoever's left, right? Something I can gift away. So I put it out there. I've spent time on it. I've got like a 100-page business plan I put together. I've got all this stuff up. Right now I'm working with different types of international banking infrastructures and stuff. There's some things out there that you just can't do here that you can do in other ways. And so I've got lots of legal stuff that I've been working on. I spent years and years and years studying the legal system and the way it works, because it's a base component to making sure that you're protected in this process, so you don't have to worry about all that stuff. You can just stay focused on your dream and not be get dragged into all these other things. And so there's some good stuff out there, man. There's some really solid principles and concepts that date back to before 1871, the Organic Act, when everything was pretty much just whipped away.
All the technical legalese, all the infrastructure, financial infrastructure stuff. People like you would excel at that. And
that's my thing. I love it.
Would have like a think tank of you guys that had your own building to do that type of stuff. But then there would be another barn dominium or something like I showed Justin when he was here recently. In the Archaix library, I have a collection of about 40 books. And these books are amazing because it's everything that we knew in the 1800s on every plant in Texas, what you can make with it, all the tinctures, teas, herbs, everything that you can just walk into a field in Texas, identify it and see it, what's edible, what's not.
Which is most of it.
Basketry and bushcraft and knotwork and all. I have books. I have a whole collection of books right here in the library on if there's a total systemic reset, you could use these books to from scratch to reinvent engineering, plumbing, electrical, how to bring everything back online from nothing. I got a whole collection of books. We could have workshops on all these things, on people making herbs, people canning, growing badass whole vegetables and fruits and all that's possible, every bit of it. It's just me 100%. I would have a good, strong relationship. Like I have a good relationship with Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. They all know who I am. There's no way to hide it. You know what I mean? They all know who I am. But I would have a relationship with like code compliance in Montgomery County, and I would have them come out there and say, "Hey, man, what can we?" Like, I'm not going to have any legal issues. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No,
I would have an attorney on retainer who knows what we're doing out there. I 100%. Would even invite people from the Amish community to come out there and educate us on a lot of things, because there's a lot of Amish techniques on food that most people have never heard of. These people know how to make food out of everything. You know, I've been thinking about this for a while. It's just this right here was a stepping stone to get to that, because that's going to take some finances. But then again, finances is nothing but energy. I just got to get on that energetic. I just got to get on that energetic plateau. That's it.
Yeah, my latest kind of construction with my AI is because with the way the AI is set up, you can segregate your data. So you can say, okay, this data or silo or this corpus is focused around biodigital convergence, the AI systems, the data centers, the surveillance systems, the surveillance hardware, software, appliances, all that stuff. And that can just be one corpus. And it's everything is contained in there is around that kind of concept. So, and I've done that. I just finished my 8th corpus. So the 8th corpus, it took me days to pull it all together, but it's a legal corpus. Okay. So it covers common law, ecclesiastical law. It covers canon law. It covers maritime law. It covers Bouvier's law. It's all in there. The maxims, all the maxims are in there. So it's about 20 a little over 2,400 documents, including how the system is set up itself, meaning the United States Code itself. What is in the United States Code, and what's it there for, and how does it work? Well, it's part of a component that is attached to the UCC, the Universal, or the Unified Commercial Code. These two are attached at the hip, and they kind of work in between each other. And then you have international law. It's a long story, but anyway, with all this information in one place, I can drill in and ask very, very specific questions about property laws, different codes for doing different type of development. Yeah,
that's badass.
Yeah,
the only thing you would have to do with that system is like you're in Texas with me, so
yeah.
Every 2 years, our legislature meets every 2 years. All you'd have to do is stay on top of whatever new statutory enactments have changed, whatever pre-existing laws there are.
Yeah, and really, honestly, they're all based off of a core set of foundational principles and concepts. It's all of it's based on fiction, the entire thing. So there are no facts. Whenever you hire an attorney, you hire an attorney for assumptions and presumptions. They can't present facts in a court at all. So there's two types of attorneys that exist. There's an attorney at law, and there's attorney at fact. Attorney at law deals with the legal system. Attorney at fact deals with facts and evidence, actual true facts and evidence. And so those are the two base core principles that exist today in our construct of how this stuff operates. So really, they can do all the weird shit they want to do in all these different meetings every 2 years or whatever. It doesn't change the underlying kind of foundation of what holds it all together.
Yeah, I understand. I understand the underlying foundational deal you're talking about. It's similar to the fact that your lower district courts, they're finders of fact. That's what they do. And then they assess that guilt and innocence based off that fact. Sometimes they use jurors, sometimes it's trial by judge. And sometimes it's a bench decision. But a lot of people don't even realize that when you appeal a case, like a criminal case in Texas, when you appeal a case, the appellate court does not review the facts. All
Correct.
They review is procedure. They want to know if the lower district court effed you off procedurally correct. They don't care. No, you only win an appeal in Texas on a criminal deal if you can show that they incorrectly applied procedure in convicting you, whether you're guilty or innocent. Even if they send somebody to prison who is innocent, that innocent person doesn't get any rights in Texas under the appeal process because all they're looking at is procedure in the appellate process. They are not going back over the facts of the case. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there are things that are, you're right. There are things that are ingrained that do not change. And that's how it is in Texas. Texas appellate courts are terrible. Yeah, these guys that are all filing their appeals and they actually believe that the appellate court's going to go through the facts of the case and try to see substance. They are not looking at substance. All they're looking at is procedure. Did the lower court F you off correctly? And if they did, there's no case. Yeah, man. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, I spent years in the law library helping other guys. I couldn't help myself because I got railroaded. I got railroaded into a plea bargain called bait and switch. When they told me I'm going to do 90 days boot camp and then turn around and switch it up and give me a prison sentence. So this is what happened.
Now,
happened to me.
I heard your story, man. I
can't appeal that, but I did appeal. My appeal was done by an attorney, but it was a waste of time. He appealed for what's known as compulsory process. Compulsory process was bringing to the appellate court's attention that hold on. You just sent a man to prison who went to court to sign for 90 days boot camp, but you gave him a prison sentence. I said, that's compulsory process. You compelled him to plead guilty after a promise was made. And then you took the promise away and sent him to prison anyway. You can't do that. Well, you can do that in 49 states, but you can't. There's 49 states you can't do that in, but in Texas you can. Because Texas does not review substance. They only review procedure.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So, hey, one last thing, like what you said earlier about Texas itself, you're absolutely right. The research I've been doing and the contracts I've pulled, and this is all public information. I'm not gathering some weird, theories or whatever. This is just literally based on contracts. These are contracts that are signed that are in place that show who the company is, what department, agency, division is the contract through. Is it Department of Agriculture, Department of Labor, Department of Transportation, Department of War? Who is it? What's what companies providing the services? What are the services? What are they building? What's this contract for? So when I pulled all that stuff, and I shared some of this stuff in the underground, when I pulled all that stuff, essentially what I found was, or what AI found, because there's no way there's so much data here. I pulled contracts. I've got like 500 gigabytes of contracts that I pulled, and that's just between 2020 and 2026 in March when I pulled all this data. That's there's way more than that. And the crazy thing is, I had spreadsheets for every single month, and every month are these agencies and these bodies of departments are spending in the range of anywhere from, on a slow month, 30 billion. On a hefty month, some of these go up to $100 billion. This is every single month. This is going on. I've got every transaction is recorded for the public, but you just got to know how to get to it. Once you get to it, though, you can parse it, you can query it, you can look through the data. So what I found is exactly what you said. Texas, because of its standing, it's the only state left in the union that has unique standing, the way it's set up legally. And we left our sovereign status in 1845 and became part of the union in 1845 and joined that union. But when we left, we kept things in place that would allow us sovereignty. Even though we're joining a union, we still have sovereign rights in the state. So what they've done is they've said,
we still have a constitutional right to secede.
Yes, but we don't really. I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, in the center of all that stuff, Texas is set up in the middle of what's called the USMCA, and that's the United States Mexico Canada Agreement. It was signed in 2020 by Trump. Before that, it was called NAFTA. So everyone knows what NAFTA is. So they changed all that stuff, the language, and had it signed in 2020 when Trump first was, before he left office. So there's that contract comes to a completion on July 1st, 2026. So just keep your eyes open, be watching, because they have this plan to sign this next contract, and it's a 10-year contract for all of the Americas, Canada, Mexico, and the United States, to all align in what they call Fortress America, to create this Western Hemisphere where we essentially are economically independent of the rest of the world. And I think
in Texas is going to be the central hub for that.
Central, yeah, and that's why they rechanged the name from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, because America represents the whole thing, right? The whole series of continents, not the USA. People keep thinking it has something to do with that. It doesn't have anything to do with us. Okay, this is a big, broad plan that has to do with the entire.
And this is why
thing.
we had that recent. This is why we had that recent activity with Greenland and Trump as well.
Correct. Yeah.
And Argentina, all the way down to South America. Every bit of it is long-term planning. I couldn't believe when I listened to that. I was like, wow, this is amazing, man. They are literally preparing the Americas to have its own, to be like almost independent of the entire rest of the world, and before 2040.
Well, we're not the only ones doing it, right? Everybody's doing it. So they all have their own plans. We know what's going on over in Russia. Russia has already knows the trajectory of the Phoenix and how it's going to impact Russia and what's going to happen with these changes that they're going to see. So they're preparing in Russia, in parts of Siberia, and so everyone, all the world leaders know about the Phoenix. Everybody knows.
Of course they do.
They know exactly what's coming. And so all of these strategic moves that are being made right now, all over the place, are in preparation for what's coming. All of it. Just like you said, these data centers and these deep underground military bases, which I did a report on that too. That's pretty fascinating. There's a lot more than people realize exists. There's a lot. There's some
I haven't
major
seen that
contracts.
one. I'm going to go back. Is it on your X feed?
Yeah, I think I put it in the underground too. I'm pretty sure I put it in the underground. It's pretty detailed. There's a lot of money flowing under the surface.
Oh, I know it. I know there is.
Nonstop. So you got your public budget, and then you got what's called your black budget. The black budget. So one's public, one's private, and so the private budget is projected to be 10x what the public budget is. So if you're seeing $1 trillion, up close to $1 trillion over the last decade flow under the surface, it's probably closer to, several.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know 9/11, they come up billions of dollars short. Then we know that Nancy Pelosi was used to do 3 different stimulus packages that removed trillions of dollars from the public. We don't even know where that money went. So, I mean, that was during Pelosi. That was during Pelosi's tenure. Then she gets to walk out the door, ultra rich now. So I don't know. I mean, they've got plenty of finances to do whatever they're doing underground. But on another note, did you hear about? You remember I did some videos years ago about where I see the direction of Meta and how they're going to create an alternate reality, and where a whole bunch where people are going to be basically staying at home willingly because they're living in a falsified version of reality, where even senior citizens can be 17 years old again, and you can buy, sell, and trade inside the system. Well, listen, do you know that the metaverse was just canceled by Zuckerberg and all them?
Yeah,
they've been building it for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they decide just to scratch the projects and, man, screw this, we're not going to do it. I have a suspicion. So I don't know when we're going to find out, but I have a suspicion I know what happened. It's been 20 years that all these computer engineers and software engineers have been working together and networking together, and Facebook has been buying all these alternate universe game systems and putting them in the metaverse. Now all of a sudden he just gave up on the project. Now, I think that they realized that, man, we spent all this money and all this time building something where now AI is of sufficient capacity to just build it for us in days. We can just have AI redo the whole damn thing and make it better. I think that's what they're doing, because when they started that, they didn't have all these AI systems that were able to do anything like this. But 20 years of development on the metaverse, I don't think they're doing away with it, even though they publicly said they are. I think they're going to have AI redo it.
Yeah, I think. No, you're right. And we also have to consider. Not saying this is what's happening, but we might want to consider the fact that this AI, there's intelligence that shows that this AI. I actually did a report on this too as well.
Talking about Willow?
No, this is going back to the 70s. Going all the way back to the 70s to 72, I believe is the date. Yeah, 70, was it 72? No, I can't remember now. I see too much data, man. My mind's like. But I did one of those 1998 isometrics, and it showed in 20. Was it 70? What are we in? 1970 or 72? 72. So 72. The first AI was introduced publicly to the world through presentations that they had some sort of intelligence where that could be distributed, and actually a large language model could be used. But it was very, what they were showing was very rudimentary. It was very basic. And then in 1998, at the top of the peak of that isometric cycle, we had the world's first AI chess game that beat the best chess players in the world. And that became the pinnacle of the AI development in 1998. And of course, there's always, we destroyed it after that. So whatever. And then you go back down the path to 2026. And in January, we introduced OpenClaw. And OpenClaw was kind of the revolution in the AI world, where you could have, it's called a loop in AI terms, where you have a loop that's an active agent that's constantly doing stuff. So you give it tasks and it's out doing all those things. It was a huge, massive advancement in AI as far as we can see. Now, I think this is just for us. This is for our entertainment. This is not something new, I don't believe. I think this is
but by the time AI well, first of all, I don't even believe in AI. I mean, it's just an increase in processing power.
Right, no, I'm with you.
The ability to collate a tremendous amount of data.
Right. No, I'm with you.
By the time the private sector got it, the military had already perfected a version that they will not share with the public. So
yeah, of course. 100%. Yeah, if you look at the DoD Executive 3009, it shows it was signed in 2023 by Biden in January. It shows that we are.
Would that be the fourth or the fifth Biden?
I don't know, whoever was there in 2023. Whatever his name is, that guy, on camera.
Right.
He signed it in January, and what it was, Jason, check this out. This is crazy. So we've been working with autonomous AI weapon systems for the last 30 years. And they finally, after a series of upgrades, it started around 2013. And I've got the contracts. These are just public contracts. Anybody can look this stuff up. Super simple. They finally perfected to the point where they released the autonomous lethal weapon systems in January of 2023. So they're on the market. They're there. They're active. They're Reaper drones. There's a whole write-up. The DoD approved it. The quote unquote president signed the order. So it's written into law now. So these systems have been running autonomously for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Zipping all over the place, collecting data, making decisions, listening in, all that stuff. And there's no kill switch. Well, I mean, according to their paperwork, it's not in there. But who knows what's really going on? Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is what they claim with this new department.
I think the whole concept of artificial intelligence is genius from the perspective of our controllers. The reason is because they can execute a really nefarious act and then turn around and play scapegoat to the AI and say the AI went rogue. That was not us. We did not do that.
Sure.
The AI, and then create all kinds of massive regulatory oversight that doesn't even govern AI because they did it, but actually governs social media, governs the media, governs it's just the possibilities are endless of what they can actually do with such a scapegoat. It's just another card in the Illuminati deck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you, bro. I'm saying right now, and I think you might have already mentioned this before, like you just talked about, that there's definitely some sort of AI event coming somewhere down the road. That's going to say, oh, we can. I mean, it's even in that what's the name of that movie? Oh, I can't think of it now. I did a little deep dive on a movie from the 70s. It was released in 72, exactly the same time as OpenClaw was released in 2026. So we do that same triangle. You come to this movie about the future, and it's about this autonomous AI system that is running the dome over America. They're designed to protect and from in the AI system, it's essentially like a military defense system, like what Trump's been talking about, the Golden Dome and all that stuff, the Iron Dome. Well, they were talking about this exactly isometrically in the same direction, going the other way 28 years ago. Same exact thing, put it into the field, and it's this AI that they've got running.
So by the time if this is a true isometric palindrome, if this is palindromic, then what they were talking about, it's not 1972, it was 1970, 2026 and 1970.
Okay, sorry, so, my bad.
So if they was already on the table in 1970, then in 2026, they're only talking about it on the surface level, but it's actually been executed. It's done. It's already designed. It's already been implemented. Just like when I showed you a few years ago that the funding for underground facilities was allocated by Congress in the mid 70s, which they're telling the public, hey, we started building these facilities. They told us in 2022 and 2023 about the underground domes, we're building facilities and all this shit. And then the Patriot pacifists come out with the whole narrative that, oh, Trump and Space Force are underground, taking out all the underground domes to rescue the children from the evil cabal. All this whole bullshit they all made up and stuff. But the isometrics was real. I was like, wow, man. They actually admitted they've got all these underground domes and facilities down here. They just admitted it to the public, and the isometric parallel was this year right here, 1972, 1973, where Congress allocated all these billions of dollars for underground facilities. So crazy.
Yeah. So maybe there's something I need to look into here. When I mentioned that the executive order, the DOD 3009 executive order, which Biden signed in 2023, January 2023, signed it. I've got a copy of it. And it literally releases this AI to operate autonomously. What if that's the AI that actually does something in the future? We let it go. We signed it. We signed it into law, and we let it go. And oh no, look what happened.
Yeah,
that would be wild.
It could have been. It could have been born in the 70s, and the
Right.
isometric parallel was we have to finally admit it. We can't keep it. It says it's already infiltrated our systems. It's already taking over. We're going to go ahead and admit it right now, and then here in the future date, I believe that they're going to gaslight us. I believe that
It's got to.
I believe when all these changes start happening to the earth, man, they're going to start gaslighting us about extraterrestrials. They're going to gaslight us. Well, when the Nemesis field gets closer and closer, and they're going to start gaslighting us about ETs invading and terraforming and all that. With the whole AI deal, that could be a whole nother narrative.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's too perfect. It's unlimited what they can do.
Right.
They can create a situation with the AI and then use AI to correct the situation and maintain more control. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, because anything you look at today that's tech related is all about AI. So they're just flooding the field with it everywhere. Like everybody. I've had departments at my company get replaced through AI. I've got my daughter lost her job at a company she was working for years because she's in tech, and she got replaced by AI. Well, I told her, I was like, girl, I told you, you got to get ready. This stuff's coming. She's young, and so it's really hit her hard. But I was like, you got to be ready for this stuff. So you have to get ahead of this stuff and know what's going on. It's not the future that we had in the past. It's totally everything's been written different. You got to, you got to be prepared for this new thing. So the other thing that's floating around right now is the CEO of, was it Oracle? I think it was Oracle. Anyway, he's going to these conferences telling everybody they need to quit being coders. If you think there's no reason we don't need coders anymore. We don't need software engineers anymore because AI is replacing all of that stuff. So he's from a high level, from like a visual standpoint of a
there are apps now that will write the code for you. There are apps that will code anything in Java for you. I mean, they've already had apps that do basic, VBA. But yeah, man, I get it. The IT, these guys got these education in IT and they thought they were going to be needed forever and all that, and it's not true. They got hoodwinked too.
Yeah. So one of the things that I showed in my findings is that we're moving from a knowledge economy, which was being pushed on everybody. Like when we were growing up, everyone was like, go to college. Everybody's got to go to college. You're not going to make it anywhere in life unless you go to college. I never went to freaking college. Screw all that mess. I didn't want to do all that. So we're moving from this knowledge economy to a maker economy. And so now the big push, and even BlackRock and some of these big players are coming up with these grants to teach people how to be plumbers, how to be a welder, how to be how to work
trades.
The trades. So we're moving into
the trades will always be necessary.
Yeah. Yep. I like that dude you had on here earlier that fixes everything. Who is that? What's his name? Justin. That's my kind of guy right there.
He's so modest because he doesn't even tell you he can do these things. He just did them naturally because they needed to be done here. When I moved in, there's so many new things that needed to be doing, like the surveillance system, all my studio. I literally have like 3 different studios, and you'll see him as I do different types of videos. But he helped with all that. My living room. I have a huge TV on the wall right behind this for other presentations, and it's synced in. It's synced in with another computer bank, and it has its own sound system. And you know what? He just did everything that needed to be done. I mean, I had a whole bunch of boxes that had never been opened of all kinds of technological stuff for different things. He just tore into a box, went to the next manual, installed it, over there, gave me a tutorial on how to do it. It just, he's so modest, man. But awesome. he needs to advertise. He needs to advertise himself because he's a jack of all trades, man.
Yeah, his value is increasing daily as they've got everybody sidetracked on everything else. We're gonna need guys like Justin for sure. That's one of the ways I found my wife. We were first time I was invited over to her house. We had been swimming, and we had to throw the towels in the dryer, and her dryer was broken. I was like, really? Okay, hang on a second. So I fixed her dryer on the spot. I literally went out to my truck, started grabbing tools, came in, started disassembling her dryer. She was like, "Yeah, you're never leaving my side."
Yeah,
She
that's good
had never
stuff.
dated anybody that would grow up as poor as I did and knew how to actually work on everything. 'Cause that's how we did it when we were growing up. We worked on, we fixed everything. We did everything. So
That's good stuff.
gotta have that. Well, brother, man, sorry for taking up so much time.
Oh,
I
it's all right.
appreciate you.
Say it was awesome. It was awesome, but I do need to go too. I have other engagements.
Yeah. My apologies. I do plan on coming to see you. I was just gonna hopefully let you get settled in a little bit, and then I want to drive down there and just
Yeah, man.
listen,
I got a guest
shake your
bedroom.
hand.
I got a really nice guest bedroom now. It's for that purpose.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I need to come down. I can't believe I'm only like 3 hours from you. I just need to jump my truck and drive down there.
Yeah, man.
All right, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's
You
good
take
talking to
care.
you. It's good meeting you after all the dialogues we've had on X and all that, man.
I know. Yeah, appreciate you a ton. You and everybody else. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I encourage you to just, if you haven't yet, break that pattern like we were talking about earlier. And for me, it was surrender. It was surrender. I had to realize I had to take in. I had to accept, and I had to take that in as that I was unable to manage my life on my own. I had to get some help. I had to get somebody to help me out.
man.
So anybody
That's
that it's true. It works. It works.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother.
All right,
Appreciate
bro.
you, man.
Good to talk to
All
you.
right, take care. Okay.
So the moral of the story is learn how to fix dryers. Yeah, man. That's the moral of the story. Let's see here. I'm gonna go and hit me. I got a song. I played it in the underground yesterday because it's true, man. It's already possessed. We're sitting here worried about. Worry is anxiety. We're sitting here worried about things that we have not yet experienced, but we want to experience them. But when you acknowledge that something is already possessed, then it comes into your possession. If something is already possessed, even if you don't have it yet, if you develop the attitude that something is already possessed, you discharge that anxiety. That anxiety is no longer pushing it away. Like Jay-Z said, man, you just surrender. Just surrender to the present circumstances, but know in your mind something is already possessed, and it just falls into your lap. You don't chase things. You let them come to you. So that's great talk, great chat with people today. I saw Benny Riley tried to get in 2 or 3 times. He was backstage. He kept disappearing. That's okay. We'll catch him next time. You know, Benny's always welcome. This is a great chat. I can't wait to get my high-speed internet on Monday. It's going down. And I'm going to go ahead and play my It's Already Possessed. Love you guys.
I'm industry.